How's it going, my friends? Well, I'm going to make this video regardless of how I feel about making it. It's more of an obligation that I feel like I need to talk about this than something I actually enjoy making. And over the years making videos, I really enjoyed talking about a variety of subjects. And my subs know that I usually try to keep it neutral, controversy neutral, just for the sake of it being more informative and interesting. Of course, I'd have plenty of controversial videos, and I've had my tangents about religion and politics, and those come and go. But I'm an open-minded person, and I will change my views as long as the information is suitable. And the one thing I'd like to convey is I don't change my views merely to go along with the group, or I never jump on a bandwagon. I never follow because someone I look up to believes something. Everything, all of my opinions, all of my values are ones that I've created out of my view of the world. And I want to get that across first off, because I get labeled as a liberal by some, or an SJW, and I'm definitely not. It's hard not to be categorized, because everybody wants to categorize everything. But I guess that's kind of a preamble to my point here, because what's going on in this country, because I haven't made videos in a little while, and not very many. I used to make a lot more videos, and in the last couple of weeks I've noticed that I haven't made them. And when I'm not making videos, I question myself as to why. I say, what is it that's keeping me from doing this? Because I'm always paying attention to my mindset. And generally in my daily life I'll listen to maybe some lectures, some philosophy, maybe some theories, some science, and I get interested in something and I want to share it. And so I make a video talking about it. I've been pretty distracted over the last couple months because of this whole election cycle. And it's not something that has angered me. I would say that I'm more disheartened. And I think that that's the misconception a lot of people have about many of the liberal-minded people. Not liberals, just people who believe in liberation for all, who are more of humanists than nationalists. And I know a lot of people don't agree with that. They would say, defend your own borders first. And I can understand that. I agree with that. I understand the philosophy of protecting your own. But it doesn't mean that the methods that we're using are proper. And what's happening right now is, with Donald Trump and his executive order to ban all immigrants coming into this country, it's absolutely disgusting to me. And I sat back and I thought about it for the last couple days, and I said, does it just bother me because I don't like Trump? No, it bothers me because it's not legitimate. It's not something that will prevent terrorism in this country or protect American citizens, and in my mind, from the research I've done in my life, I believe that it'll create more extremism. People lose hope when they don't have a chance. If you ban entire countries from coming here, then you have given them the ammunition, metaphorically, to speak out against you. And to say, hey, look, we're a group that is against America and you should join us because, look, at America doesn't accept Muslims. They're, preferring a religion. And a lot of folks would say, well, it's not religious-based. And I would say, well, it didn't have to be. But Trump mentioned the Christians that were enduring torture, and that Christians shouldn't have to endure hardships. And to me, that's preferential treatment. But regardless of how we feel about religion and politics, there's a human rights issue going on right now. People are not being permitted to come into this country because they're from countries that harbor supposedly terrorists. However, here's the facts. Of all the 7 countries, not one of them, not one, has sent a person over here who has killed us, anyone, any American on American soil. Now, if you were to create an all-around ban to Muslim countries which may harbor terrorists, you would have to include Saudi nationals, which were supposedly the 9/11 attackers and hijackers. They were Saudi nationals, and Saudi Arabia is one of our allies. So we're willing to overlook this. And this is a conflict of interest. This means that we are not doing it for the reasons we say we're doing it. And if these countries weren't war-torn enough, the U.S. and our groups like Halliburton, and a whole shitload of others, all had their hands in the pie, and we all had a place. We all watched the bombs drop. I remember, Iraq. I remember both of the wars, and it's something that we need to really step back and look at. Here's the problem. Since no terrorists have come from those countries, all we're doing, and I'm not saying there have been no terrorists in those countries, I'm saying that since Americans have not died from anybody from those countries, it shows that there is something else going on, of course. This is not going to protect us if it hasn't harmed us. It will cause more conflict, and it will cause more people to be frustrated and upset around the world. But what we are doing is blocking scientists, legitimate teachers, and university students that travel from these countries to America to work with scientists here. To them, there's no borders. It's not about what country you're from. It's about what field are you in. And this is the thing that people don't get. The people who are on the far right will never understand the left. And they'll never understand why we care about people over profits. But to them, it's about protecting your country. What does that mean? Are we being attacked? Are we amidst a war that we haven't created? No, we're not. When was the last time Americans were attacked on our own soil? From an actual country and not an extremist group. Just think about it. It's ludicrous. We've been lied to the whole time, and people are still willing to back up this government. And now we have someone in there who is a madman, who can't handle himself in the real world. He tweets the most ridiculous things. He says the most ridiculous things, and now he's trying to implement policy to sound important and to feel like he's getting something done. I wanted to give him credit for the one thing that supposedly he did do. I said, well, what has he done that's good? And I said, well, he did put up a 5-year lobbying ban. But then when I researched further, I found out that it was just a continuation of Obama's plan. He had implemented a 2-year lobbying ban for people who left Congress or left government office, and he just increased it to 5 years. And the same thing's going to happen with the Affordable Care Act, which it seems like there has been a lot of discussion lately about right-wingers who don't understand that there were several people interviewed, and they said, what do you think about Obamacare? They say it's horrible. They say, what about the Affordable Care Act? Oh, it's great, it's wonderful. They don't even fucking realize it's the same thing. I mean, these are people who just don't get it because they don't look into anything. They don't do anything but repeat what they're told. And that's what I mean about asking myself, am I repeating just what I want to hear? No, because I'm not listening to anybody. I don't listen to liberal news or talk radio or NPR or anything like that. I build my views upon looking at the facts and the figures. And god damn it, people just don't understand that there is real information out there that you can dig out if you're willing to look. But trying to convince other people of that, don't bother. We're at an impasse. People don't seem to care. People want government to work fast for them when something's going well. But when it comes to having a long drawn-out process with Congress and blocks and vetoes, these things actually protect us. These things were implemented. Doesn't mean they're not abused, but they were put into the process of government so one man can't go into office and make decisions to just devastate the country. But the president does have enough freedom to really fuck us over if he wants to. And I gotta say, first off, I'm not saying that Donald Trump has evil intentions. He may be very well intended, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Many of people have tried to do great things and completely fucked up their countries. This is something that pride and arrogance cause. The people who want to take these positions have pride and arrogance, and you have to get in there. And damn it, I wouldn't want to be a leader. And I definitely wouldn't want to have no recourse of action if, my neighbors were all nuts. I mean, I like to live in a place that's fair with law. I'm willing to pay taxes. I am willing to pay into this system, and I'm willing to help others. And I don't draw the line at illegal immigrants just because they don't have papers to say they're from here. It's one thing to implement laws, but when you're making demands, such as he says, he demands a 30-day plan to defeat ISIS from the military. That's what he wants, 30 days. I mean, as if they haven't been working on this the whole time. You think you can snap your fingers and everybody's just going to do something better because you want them to, when you don't understand the policies and how they work. And he put a block on the EPA employees from posting anything, and they had to pull down their climate change information. I mean, these are serious issues that are going to affect our future. And this is the same guy who tweeted a few years back that, climate change is a Chinese conspiracy to overtake American markets. I mean, so a lot of government agencies and groups are going rogue, as they're calling it, and they're creating their own Twitter platform so they can speak out. And there's even one, it's like a POTUS, the White House POTUS group, where it's some people who are in the White House who are tweeting all this information that's happening as it's happening. And I don't want to be involved in it, I don't want to be interested in it, but I feel like I'm obligated to, because it's my country, and because I'm a citizen here, but most of all, because I care about people. And I know, I've seen those camps, where the people are sitting there with their children and they're doing their best to be happy, they're doing their best to get by, and all they want is a place to live. And sometimes you get the wrong person, but blocking everyone is not going to help that. And since many of these crises were caused by bombing due to groups like ISIS, which we left the power vacuum for them to rise, we need to help do something about that. That's my belief. So I'd like to read you something here that I thought was relevant. Ellis Island, the Statue of Liberty, it stands for something. I saw a comment earlier and it said, France called and they want their statue back. And I thought that was pretty funny. But the reality is that there's a reason for that. I'm going to read you the plaque, the poem from the Statue of Liberty, in case you haven't heard it. It's called The New Colossus. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land, here at our sea-washed, sunset gates shall stand. A mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. From her beaconed hand glows worldwide welcome, her mild eyes command. The air a bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep ancient lands, you storied pomp, cries she, with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift up my lamp beside the golden door. And that once meant something. This country once was a brave, strong, free country. And if we're willing to close our doors to people who need help because we're afraid of being harmed, without any evidence to support that, even if there is evidence to support that, making a choice like that, people really need to think that through. Because that's not courage, that's cowardice. And that's my opinion. So, have a great day, everybody. Take care. And for those of you who are on the right side, stay strong. And I don't mean the right wing. Definitely mean the left side if you have to be on any side. I don't like to take sides. I'm open-minded. But I'm leaning more towards liberal values because they help people, not profits. And if people want to go on making their billions, so be it. I'm not going to get in their way. But don't get in our way. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.